It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.
Welcome back to the Evan edition. I am Evan Bernstein, and I am joined today by the intellectual, the hyper positive, one of my, can I say, good friends, Zach from Zach Attack Reviews.
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for that beautiful intro. I appreciate that.
Oh, of course. I had more in the brain, but when I was doing all the notes, I'm like, darn, what did I had more good things to say in the intro.
Talk about creative brain, right? Like there'll be sometimes I'm on my way home from a movie and I'm picking up this great script for my review, and then when I get home, I forget all the stuff that I said.
Like right when you get to type it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to start like writing it in my phone. But sometimes my brain thinks of it too fast. I don't think I could like type it in my phone that fast. But yeah, I understand that though.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I especially like am for my family, like the movie guy, you know, like who was in this movie? Like who's the person that, you know, in like my dad gives me the most vague details and I'm like, oh, like this movie. But then when we're on here and we're spitting, I'm like, what's the actor's name? I'm way better at this. So it's so funny because when you listen to people in this space, you're always like, when they have a brain fart and they're like, who's the person? And you're listening to them and you say the name out loud. You're like, I can think of it. But when you're on camera and you're in like the things you need a hit that you want to get through, it's hard to like put other things in your brain. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're like, I can do it better. And then when you're in the position, you're like, wait,
this is why it's happening.
Yeah.
I had a very proud I'm the movie guy to a friend moment. So my friend was like, I'm taking my boyfriend for his birthday to this fancy rooftop projector screen movie experience. And here are the movies that's here. What should we watch? And I told her to go watch what's the movie with Matt Damon? It's like one of his first big films with Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, no.
Good Will Hunting. So because she wasn't sure, because she's like, it was like The Dark Knight, 10 Things I Hate About You, and a bunch of other movies, Lilo and Stitch. And she was like, should I watch Lilo and Stitch? I was like, no, that's the live action one. Don't bother with that. I was like, watch Good Will Hunting. She was like, I've never seen it before, and I was like, that's perfect. I was, and has he seen it? She's like, I'm not sure. And then she came back and I was like, perfect choice. Good Will Hunting is one of his favorite movies ever. So it was great for his birthday, but he hasn't seen it in 10 years. And I've never seen it and I loved it. And I was like, hey, I'm the movie guy.
Great. That is awesome. Especially like such a banger of a movie. There's actually a movie that I was going to recommend after. I just want to give the rundown. So we got a lot of fun stuff to get into today. We're going to give our spoiler review of One Battle After Another. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put the spoiler up there, or I'll put the title up there with spoiler review in it. Once it's down, you can unmute us. Timmy, if you haven't seen it and you want to stay in the chat, please be my guest, but you are forewarned. There may be spoilers. On top of that, we got some casting of some villains in Spider-Man. James Gunn is giving all the tidbits in all these interviews, including the script is, you know, the second draft is done and who we think is going to be the villain, how hard it's been to cast Batman, how the script has changed for Batman as they're getting deeper into the writing. So there is a lot of good stuff we're going to get into. And in the middle of that, we have a brand new segment that is actually a surprise to my boy, Zach. And I cannot wait to show him it. And we're going to have some fun with it. And it's going to be kind of hard.
Oh boy.
I'll just put it out there.
Oh boy.
So the movie that I was going to recommend is, I watched this movie on Netflix last night. It came out like 2 years ago. It's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Oh, I love that movie.
Dude, I always meant to get around to it. You know, it has the great Rachel McAdams. It
Yeah,
has
one of her best
Benny
performances.
Safdie, who is just an underrated actor in his own right.
Yeah.
And then the girl from the 2 first Ant-Man movies, who's like
Who does a
growing
great
up
job.
before our eyes, who I'm
Yeah.
like, just use her as an
Yeah,
older cast at this
yes.
point. She's 17. But I have to say, you know, Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret
So good.
was done beautifully. There's
Very
not
good.
a ton of coming of age movies that focus on young women. And
No.
I think this did such a great job, especially the faith of it all, you know, finding your faith. Like, what do you believe in? You know, you're one side's Jewish, one side is Catholic or Christian, and really understanding as you're growing up and, you know, meeting new friends and going through bodily changes. You're wondering, like, who do I turn to? Who do I look up to when I have these questions or when I want my prayers answered? And do I even believe in a God that could answer these prayers? I
Yeah.
thought it was done in such a beautiful way from the perspective of what women go through growing up. And it's a beautiful film. And I highly recommend it. I was reading after that the author refused to have the movie
Right
made
here.
for a long time. Oh, you got it? You got it?
Yeah, I bought that
Nice.
bad boy real fast. I love this movie.
Yeah, I love the movie. And so she refused to have it made because she didn't think it could be adapted well. And when she met this director who did Age of 17 with Haley
Love that
Steinfeld,
movie too.
and she gave her pitch, she was like, okay. And then she saw the movie. This doesn't really happen from authors, but she said, I think, and this is coming from the author, I think that this movie is better than my book.
Wow.
That is
That's very humble to be able to even say that.
seriously. I mean, it's just women giving women flowers, right? This is what they do or whatever, you
Yeah.
know, like, so, right. And so it was beautiful. Can't highly recommend it.
Oh, since we give recommendations, I'll give
Yeah,
one.
please.
This actually hasn't come out yet. I actually got a screener. This comes out this Friday on Apple TV. It's called The Lost Bus. Matthew McConaughey is back on our big screen, or I guess small screen.
Finally.
And he's right in the type of role that you expect, a sad dad. He does a great job at that, or just a sad kind of person trying to find their way. That's Matthew McConaughey's bag. And it's based on a true story on the California fires and this lost bus that was in the middle of it. This couple, I think it's happened a couple years ago, maybe like 2017, 2018.
Right.
It's a great movie, very intense, very like, I was like really scared for the characters. So I thought it was done really good. It's for the director of the Bourne movies.
Oh, okay.
Paul
Greengrass, right? Paul Greengrass and America
Ferrera, yeah,
right?
she did a great job too.
Okay.
Yep.
Better than Highest to Lowest?
Oh, way better than that.
Because this one's not getting a theatrical release. Just like Highest to Lowest, it's going straight to Apple TV.
It got
right?
like 2-3 weeks, but it was like very limited.
Not a lot. Not like F1 got.
No.
You know?
Not like that.
Okay, awesome. So, okay, awesome. Because I was definitely interested, and I love Matthew McConaughey. I think he is such a great talent, and I missed him in that hiatus. But when you get so big and you blow up, I get that a hiatus is needed to just kind of realign on what projects you want to do. And to come out with this, Paul Greengrass, who, what a great ride his movies are, like the suspense of the movies, how he pulls you in. So Green Zone, I thought was really good with Matt Damon. Speaking on Matt Damon again, it's coming back. I can remember. I think, we're in for a treat, and I can't wait to see it. So that's awesome. Send me that screener. No, I was kidding. Okay, well, we both got to see one battle after another this weekend, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it maybe in spoiler discussion. I'm trying to give my overall thoughts of it, but it might get into spoiler territory, so I don't want to mess it up for anyone that didn't get to see it. I know it only came out this weekend. But on top of that, before we start, I went to the Draft House, the Alamo Draft House, to see this in San
Nice.
Francisco, and I got some goodies. And so I
Ooh.
did pick up for my boy Zach, because he has been raving about Splitsville. Do you have one of these? But neon. So this says
That's so cool.
Splitsville, a ruler for men who need to impress.
So perfect.
From Neon. And I was
That's
like, you know
amazing.
what? I gotta pick this up for Zach. He will love this. So
That's amazing.
I don't know. I'm gonna get this to you somehow, but I
You got
haven't
it at the theater?
Yeah, they had him out there.
Oh,
They had him out there. I was like, I gotta pick up one of these. Yeah, and
that's
they
amazing.
had that huge glowing sign that I texted you when you walked by, the Splitsville sign. So they went all out for the movie, and they had these, I guess, left over from the premiere, maybe. And so I was like, Zach's gonna like this.
Yeah, I've been like the person shouting to the heavens for people to go check it out, because people always complaining about, comedies not being in theaters, and we don't
Right,
get
original
comedies
movies
anymore.
not being in theaters. Like, here's one right here.
Here's one right here with like known actors. It's not like unknown actors, and it's so funny from beginning to end. So like,
Yeah,
been trying
Wonder
to.
Woman's in it.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully, y'all Wonder Woman. Come on, James.
On top of that, my wife and I, because we are big fans, and these seem to be on sale at Alamo Draft House, we got these bad boys.
Ooh,
right? Fantastic.
Nice. You want to hear something interesting? I go to my theater so much that my theater people gave me a Fantastic Four cup for free.
I love that.
It's one with a thing on top of it, and it's like he's going like this. It's so cool.
This is what we talked about in the very beginning. I mean, love your theater workers, because those guys don't have it easy cleaning up after us, making the experience enjoyable day in and day out. And and a lot of them are movie lovers. They're there for a reason, because they want to be around it. So when you're there, see how they're doing. Every time I go, I'm like, did you get to see this yet? What did you think? So talk to your movie theater workers and see how they are, see how they're doing, and thank them, dude. It's a thankless job, and they make theater going experiences better, the ones that care. And so I felt
bad during that Minecraft run. I was like, I'm so sorry this is happening to you guys.
Oh man, the chickens and the popcorn, like, it was wild.
Everywhere. Somebody ripped one of the chairs out of the thing.
Yeah, it's like a Raiders game, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. For one battle after another, I want to give my initial thoughts.
Yeah.
I was going to throw it to you first, but I feel like I got to get this out. I feel, just in general terms, one, love the movie. Actors, fantastic. This is PTA's top-notch filmmaking, hands down.
Yeah.
But beyond that, this movie, One Battle After Another, is the quintessential movie that defines the era that we are living in and that we have lived in for the past 15 to 20 years. What I mean by that is it deals with American politics in a big bad way when it comes to deportation, to being an immigrant, to ICE, to people that take justice into their own hands and fight back against the government, to government insight about how they feel about the people that aren't the 1%, that they are not getting money from on a constant basis, the secret clubs that exist that try to discuss how they can continue to make more money off the backs of other people. This movie defines the era that we have been living in and does it in such an intelligent way. It is not so heavy-handed, in my opinion. It is a story that will live on for generations, and they will look back and say, wow, they really got it right of what it was like to live in that time. And that is really how I felt about that movie in general terms. Zach, I want to throw it to you. you got to see this almost 2 times. How did you feel about the movie?
Yeah, I ended up really loving the film. One of the best films of the year. It's so funny because I agree with everything you just said, right? About the movie, performances, and it's entertaining. Like everything you said sounds really heavy, but PTA puts it in a very entertaining
Yes.
package. You will laugh throughout. There are tense moments. There are moments of like, oh, wow. And it's not heavy handed. There's no speeches about how you should be or you should not be. They kind of just throw you in a situation and you see it. And I loved all that. I love that it didn't try to hold anyone's hands. But what's interesting is that I think this is one of the best movies of the year. One of the most important. I think 3 films this year have been very important. I think Edison, Sinners, and now this,
I
right?
knew you were gonna say that. Yeah.
And I think Edison and will be a great double feature because both films kind of showcase like how we got where we are right now. And while I do think it's one of the most important films, while I do think it's one of the best films of the year, I do think it's getting a tad bit overrated in a sense that I think that they're making it seem like it's the greatest film of all time. And I think a lot of people are going to go in there expecting the greatest film of all time, and they're not going to get that. Yeah, like they're saying it's the best film of the last 5 years, and it was like there's a lot of great films that came out last 5 years. You know what I mean? Like,
not like when things are overhyped because it really
hyperbolic
destroys my theater going experience. You know what I mean? Because you have all these expectations, like this defines. Like I just played it up a lot, and it's just my honest truth of how I felt while I was watching it. But I don't want people to just think this is like Citizen Kane of 2025. Like it is not by any means, but it is a very well done film. Like you said, like PTA doesn't leave it heavy handed, hitting you over the head. He takes you on an adventure with these characters. So we see this world through different eyes, whether it's Sean Penn, whether it's Leo, whether it's Tiana,
Chase Infinity,
Taylor,
which is the best name ever.
Infinity, all the way to Benicio del Toro and what Latinos are going through in America. It's all these different point of views about the same subject, and every point of view is a little bit different than the person next to you, which is the world that we live in pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect way to say that. We're getting so many. You talk about Regina Hall in this movie.
You got it.
And because I said Regina King one time, somebody's like, "Do you mean Regina Hall?" I was like, "Calm down."
Both
a lot
great,
of Reginas and Rebeccas.
Both great.
Both great. Both have been in movies this year. Regina Hall's perspective and kind of how she's kind of a little bit like Leo in a way, but still a little bit more forward in what she needs to do. She wants to go too extreme, but she also still wants to fight the nuns and the Spanish people and all these different aspects we're getting about the same thing and how some people just see it in a different way to tackle it. I really, really like that he did that without having to be too heavy-handed and just making it move. Like this movie is 2 hours and 48 minutes, but it feels like an hour and 30.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It didn't drag in a lot of areas where it could have easily dragged. There was another actor or character that would help carry the story through, which I thought like they did a really good balance of that, you know, whether it's Chase's character, Chase Infinity, who's fantastic in this, who's going to be on the map in a big bad way after this, whether it's Benicio's character, whether it's Sean Penn's character, who is fantastic and disgusting and scary in this as well. And then whether it's
one of the best villains of the year.
100%. No, he's going to get nominated for sure. Just also the fact that his name is Sean Penn. I do want to mention, you know, looking at Leo in the past 6 years, he is in this aloof character phase of his life. And I want to go down this because these characters are not stupid. They're actually smart, stupid. You know what I mean? Where like they seem like they're idiots, but they're smart, but they're very aloof and kind of all over the place in their respective lives. Whether it's Rick Dalton in Once Upon a Time, Dr. Randall in Don't Look Up, Ernest in Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yeah.
and now Bob in One Battle After Another. He's gotten this really great era of these aloof, really dumb, smart characters. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I don't want to say they're outright idiots. Like Bob knows what he's fighting for. He knows who he's in love with, and he knows that when he has a kid, the kid becomes the number one important thing in his life. So he is not a dumbass. He is actually very smart when it comes to these basic principles in life. The justice of it all and the father figure of it all. And so I really love this era that Leo is in right now, and he's just playing it so well. And he was really great in this. He just continues to crush these very aloof characters. Yeah,
he was the funniest thing about the movie, and he was the center of it. So he always kept these tense moments very comedic. A tense moment of like ice coming after you, right? And your friend. That's supposed to be really tense. But because of how funny and silly he is throughout the movie, especially when he's trying to get the passwords and trying to get the locations and all that stuff, like this really moment that's supposed to be really tense is hilarious.
Why don't I? He's like,
one of my favorite.
I don't remember it. Okay, just listen to me. Listen to who I am.
Yeah, one of my favorite line readings of 2025 is from him in this movie. He goes, "Life." Like, what? Why did you choose to do it like that? But I felt it because life be like that sometimes, you know?
Yeah, 100%. He had great laugh out loud moments, and he was, I mean, everyone had a standout moment in this movie, but man, Chase Infinity is a star in the making. And I really saw this beautiful thing where Zendaya saw the movie and sent her the bouquet of flowers to congratulate her. And it coming from a mixed race background, both of them, and kind of having this girl who's not super young, but she's a step behind her, to have someone say like, I see you, I was there, and you are on your way in a big, beautiful way like that. It's such a great, like, not passing the torch, but like a hand up, like I can see the talent in you. Let's go. Let's maybe do something together at some point. But it is well deserved. And I think thank you, Timmy. Yeah, Zendaya is 30, and I think Chase Infinity is like 24, 25.
24, 25. Honestly, like 5-6 years ago, if this movie would have came out later or before, this would have been Zendaya. This would have been Zendaya in this movie. Because Zendaya is like, I think she either just turned 30 or she's 29. I know she's a little younger than Tom. So, and Chase did this movie when she was 22. So it's been like 3 years in the making for her. So at 22, 23, Zendaya definitely would have been doing something like this. So for her to like kind of see that and see like, okay, she's kind of in the same realm as me, send her flowers and do that, I think that's dope. And I hope Zendaya, as she gets older, reaches out to more young, not just mixed race, but black or just young artists
I just
as well.
feel like they have a lot in common. Like
like
saw herself in this new actress, and kind of when she saw the movie got blown away. Like, oh wow, I got competition. No, but man, I would love to see the movie together. And no, I think you're right. I think Zendaya has paved the way for a lot of women in general, women of color, and also women that maybe are almost pigeonholed it to a younger audience with Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever it is, and showing that if you have the chops, you will find your path forward. I did it, you can do it too, kind of thing. So she hits on so many different levels.
Yeah. And I think Chase is like starting off really strong. Her first project was A Presumed Innocent, which I haven't watched, but I heard was amazing.
Yeah.
And she got to work with Jake Gyllenhaal. You know what I mean? Like, that's a top tier actor.
Ruth Negga, dude.
Ruth Negga too. Her. Yes. Great actress too. I love her. And then now to come into this and work with a bunch of legendary actors.
Yeah.
And I said in my personal review, I was like, she didn't seem like she was out of place. She didn't seem like she was a step behind. She seemed like she was supposed to be there. Yeah.
She was standing on her own against Sean Penn, Leo, Benicio, Regina Hall. Like, these actors are seasoned,
Yeah.
award-winning actors,
Season.
and it feels like, yeah, they are
Season.
seasoned, and she didn't skip a beat. She felt like she
No.
belonged. She felt like she carried it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, dang, dude, the imagery, of her mother being pregnant, shooting the gun that we all saw in the trailer, and
Yeah.
then her, which we
Doing
also
it.
saw in the trailer, doing it herself. Just the way that PTA shot this and the way that he had the story unfold, it made it like such a digestible movie and very easy to watch. Bless you.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. So you got anything else to say on it?
Yeah, like you said, I think he made it very easy to watch. I haven't watched a lot of his films. I think this is my second film from him. The first one was Licorice Pizza, which I thought was just okay. This one is fantastic. It's in my top 5 of the year. And accessibility, I think, is the big thing here, right? I think almost anyone can jump into this and watch it. Obviously, there's some political stuff that goes on there, so certain people are not going to be a fan of the movie. And I do think that the reason why I saw this twice is because my first showing, I missed the first 20 minutes. And then I was like, I want to go see those 20 minutes. So I went to another showing because I got Regal Unlimited, so I'm going to pay extra. And so just watch the first 20 minutes and dip. But then it was just like, yo, this is so good. I'm just want to watch it again. And those first 20 minutes, it's a little sexually charged. So I could kind of see some people being turned off by that, especially Sean Penn and Tiana Taylor moment in the bunker kind of thing. I was like,
wild.
That was weird.
Wild.
Yeah, I was like, I can see that. But once you get past all that, the movie just kind of like soars.
I think there's a lot deeper things that speak to Sean Penn's character's obsession with Tiana's character. And I won't go too much into it because we'll be talking for like we can do a whole a whole episode just on that dynamic.
This movie almost ruined Christmas.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, that's all we'll say about that. Damn, dude. So you haven't seen like Phantom Thread, Inherent Vice, The Master. You have to see The Master.
I heard that.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's best performance by far. You haven't seen There Will Be Blood. Okay.
And it's funny, my friend bought it for me for my birthday.
Okay.
So I'm going to watch it.
I would start with.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I've been hearing about this movie for years. Everybody keeps telling me to watch it. So
I'm definitely checking it out. I abandoned my boy. You got to see that part. You'll know what I mean
when I see it. Gotcha.
Just Daniel Day's and Paul Dano breakout role. A lot of people think Little Miss Sunshine. No. And Paul Dano is one of those ones. When it comes to acting, he is one of those ones.
He is.
But all right, we got a lot to get through. That is one battle after another. Go see it. Go see it in the theaters. I am telling you, the time length does not feel long and dragged out when you're in there. It feels like you're in the ride of your life, and these characters feel lived in. It feels real, and it's a hell of a time. I would just say that. And my theater was packed.
Yeah.
Thursday night, opening night, it was packed. I didn't see what the numbers did, but hopefully it did well. Either way, this bad boy is going to get nominated. Hard.
Yes, it is. In almost every category, I can see it get nominated, to 100%. Be honest. Maybe not costumes, but everything else, 1,000%. I
want that robe, though.
Me too. Yo, he's in his Big Lebowski era, man.
He is. I would the aloof Big Lebowski era. That is exactly what it is. Yeah. Okay, awesome. With that down, I want to get into this. So, as you know, we got an epic Spider-Man movie coming up this coming summer of 2026. We've seen amazing on-set photos that look like they hired someone professional to take them. We got the Punisher, we got the Hulk in it, we got so many people. Yeah, we have Scorpion in it, we have Liza Colon Gonzalez from The Bear. We have great actors But they are not done, because we heard rumors that our boy Tombstone was going to be in it, and everyone was wondering who could they possibly act to play Tombstone. Well, it seems like it's someone that was already playing Tombstone, at least the voice. This comes to us from Deadline. They say, while production on Spider-Man Brand New Day has been paused for a week because Tom Holland suffered a concussion on set, casting on the project continues as Marvin Jones III has been tapped for the role of Tombstone. Jones comes to the new live-action Spider-Man after being tapped to voice Tombstone in Sony's animated Oscar winner Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, as well as the threequel, which we will see coming up in 2027, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Also known as Lonnie Lincoln, Tombstone is one of New York's nastiest crime bosses, a Marvel villain who is reoccurring foil to Spidey in the comics. Created by Gary Conway and artist Alex Suviuk. The character is a hulking African-American albino with filed teeth and near indestructible skin. Production on Brand New Day resumes tomorrow, September 29th.
Okay.
And the film is still on course to meet its theatrical release of July 31st, 2026. And if you guys don't know, this actor is best known for his turn as supervillain Tobias Well in the CW's Black Lightning, arguably the best part of that series.
Yeah.
And Jones recently has been seen starring opposite Kerry Washington in Joe Carnahan's Lionsgate pick, Shadow Force. He's also been in All-American Homecoming, The Equalizer, Season 2 of Paramount's Halo, opposite Pablo Schreiber. And upcoming, he'll be seen starring opposite Emilia Clarke and Adria Arjona in Amazon's Criminal I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, Jonas Cuarón's Indie Gringo Champion. So it seems like Marvin Jones III is really becoming a household name when it comes to more high-profile projects.
Yes.
I talked enough. I want to ask you, Zach, what do you think of this casting?
First, I want to say, Tom Holland, I hope you're okay, and I hope they're not rushing you back to set because concussions are serious.
Bro was out with Zendaya the next day after it happened at like tennis or something.
And I'm like, well, in my head, I'm like, maybe it's not as serious as the reports are saying it, or maybe he's just playing it cool.
Take it easy.
Please take it easy. We need you for another 10 years, at least, as Spider-Man. But this is perfect casting, right? It's a guy who has played inside of this playground before, in live action, in animated form. He was Tobias Well in Black Lightning. He was phenomenal. He was diabolical in that show. Some of the things he said in that show, I was like, "Whoa, okay, CW. I didn't know you're gonna allow him to say that." And he was great as Tombstone in Into the Spider-Verse as well. I think that we don't have a lot of albino representation on screen at all, and I would like to see more to get that more normalized. I have a friend that's albino, and he still kind of gets pointed at sometimes, which I'm ready to fight people because of it. So I like that he's going to be able to do this. Hopefully they don't have to paint his skin too silvery. Obviously, he's probably going to have to shave his beard. But I think that this is perfect casting. He's a talented actor. I think that this character is basically made for him. And he has the voice. He has a great voice for a character that looks like
took mine. I was just going to say, man, Marvin Jones III has an incredible voice. Yeah. It is what makes him such a definitive actor, and it's why a big part that he is on the rise in more high-profile projects. You know, growing up with James Earl Jones and Morgan Freeman and these great voices, for our generation, we're missing that a little bit. We can't really rely on who is our cool, like really distinctive voices. This man right here has an amazing distinctive voice, and you best believe in Spider-Man Brand New Day, they're going to rely on that to sell this character, and I cannot wait to see him and hear him.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's going to be, people are going to be making memes and edits and all that stuff. And honestly, the way they set him up, he might become a sex symbol with that voice. If they set Tombstone in a way where he gets to use his charisma and look a certain type of way,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see a lot of people
Timmy
loving him.
got it. He has that Keith David kind of voice.
That's a good comp.
Yeah, that's a good comp. I mean, hair standing up, bro. You just gave me chills. Like, because I mean, voices in this industry get overlooked a lot. Iconic voices. I mean, we just saw another blank. Help me out. Candyman, Todd. Candyman.
Not Todd Phillips.
Something Todd.
Tony Todd. Right?
Thank you. Tony Todd passed away. He was not recognized at all at the Emmys memoriam.
Insane.
And he's been in a lot of movies, but he's been in a lot of shows too. Namely, he was the voice of Zoom in The Flash season 2. And he is another iconic voice. And I really feel like iconic voices get overlooked if you're not seeing them on screen all the time. And so I really hope this is the beginning of Marvin Jones, that like his voice is going to be recognized, his prowess and his presence on screen, because man, it's chef's kiss casting.
Yeah.
And so I
unique look, great voice, and a talented actor. Like he has.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
has it all.
Presence,
I would say Austin Butler has I don't know if it's because of what he did with himself for Elvis, but he does.
He messed it up, bro. He messed it up, but it sounds cool now.
It sounds super cool.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, let us know what you guys think. Are you excited about Marvin Jones III as Tombstone? Are you excited to finally get a live action Tombstone in a Spider-Man movie? Drop your comments below. Let us know what you guys think. All right, guys, with that down, I want to get into this. James Gunn dropped some huge news on Monday this past week. That Superman movie is coming really quickly, so much so that he put his big old script on the table and was like, guess what? This is what my movie's going to be about. This comes to us from Games Radar. They say Superman 2 writer-director James Gunn has offered up the first look at the script of Man of Tomorrow. Only the cover page has been shown. It features an anatomical illustration of a cross-section of a human head, including, of course, the brain. As you can see above, this is the picture written by James Gunn. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joel Shuster. Draft 2. So this has been in the works with him for a while.
Yeah.
It's that image of a human brain that may actually confirm some important aspects of the plot of Man of Tomorrow. In particular, the villain who will be so deadly, he forces Superman and Lex Luthor to team up. The obvious implication is that, as many fans have predicted, the villain will be none other than Brainiac, the most important Superman enemy who has yet to appear on the big screen. I want to ask you, Zach, how do you feel about Draft 2 being in the books? And do you also agree that this image alone is definitely giving big hints that Brainiac will be the big Brainiac bad of Superman 2?
So in terms of Draft 2 being done already, I do worry that James Gunn is writing a little too fast. We've talked about like him, and he's been public about how he wrote, Creature Commandos, season 2 of Peacemaker, Superman, and I think like one other thing in a span of like 16 months, which is a lot. you know, because he's also directing a lot of these things. He's producing a lot of things. He's going to go ahead. So he has his self stretched a little thin in that. And I think each of those scripts suffered a tiny bit for that because he had to have his full focus. I can't particularly speak for Peacemaker season 2 because I haven't watched it directly, but people I trust have said that the beginning of it seems a little sloppy, and now it's revving up towards the back end.
I agree. It was clunky.
Yeah, so I could see where maybe he's stretching himself in, but now he's not writing anything else but this. So I'm excited to see how this comes together with his full force and focus, just writing this while he does his other duties. But I do think it's really, really fast. Like Superman just came out. The fact that he already has the second go already and the movie's coming out, I'm hoping that is amazing, right? Yeah. I do think that James Gunn doesn't just do things for nothing. And I'm like, this has to be his Brainiac. People have been asking for Brainiac since Man of Steel. Right? Everybody wanted Brainiac for Man of Steel 2. So it's been like 10, 13 years
100%.
of people wanting Brainiac brought to live action. And I think this is the confirmation we needed.
Yeah, I think you're right. And to lend to what you said, you know, with Man of Steel, it made so much sense because of how much they gave the alien essence of who Superman is. And we got to see so much of Krypton in that movie in the opening scene. Yeah, Krypton. Okay. I'm like, Krypton. I was like, I got it right. And so, yeah, everyone thought like it was a foregone conclusion that the sequel would be Brainiac. Unfortunately, they had people above who were like, we need Batman. We need you to build this universe quickly because Marvel just had a huge Avengers team up movie and we need that too.
Yeah.
I think that might be playing a little bit into the hand of why James Gunn is going so fast. As we have reported on recently, Warner Brothers may be bought out by bigger companies who have other interests. And so if you put out Superman and it does really well, Supergirl's coming out the next year, Superman again. By the time a new company helps ramping up Warner Brothers and whatever properties they just bought, you might have billion-dollar franchise and they're like, darn, we have to let James keep going.
We have to keep him.
Might be a preemptive tactic to keep pumping these out if people are liking them so that he will be too big to fire or to demote if a big company comes in to buy Warner Brothers, is how I feel.
And I want to piggyback off of that. I 100% agree with you that I do think he wants to get these big, because he even also recently said, I don't know if you were going to bring up this, he also said that I think we're going to focus on big characters and known characters. It's hard to get people in theaters for people they don't know, which is very unusual for him because he focuses on unknown characters. You know? So his thing
he made Guardians big.
He made Suicide Squad kind of big. You know what I mean?
He made it better.
Yeah, and then Peacemaker as well. It's not a household name, but like that's not even a D-list DC hero. That is almost.
I have a Peacemaker figure because of his representation of that character. I only knew about him and that he was a D-bag from the comics. I didn't know much else, honestly.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of Peacemaker until the show. So
it's so obscure.
It's so obscure. But what I'll say is, other than the business side of it, I think progression of what's going on, I think it makes the most sense. And I'm going to say this why. This is coming from my comic book brain, right? We have Superman, and a lot of what happened with Superman is that what he thought his world was is not what it is, right? And the reason why and I think that he's going to continue to deconstruct what we think Krypton, what is Kryptonians in this version of the world is. And I think when you go to Supergirl, I think that's going to continue to happen, right? Because she didn't grow up on Earth. So she's going to be more of an a-hole maybe than Sue Clark is.
Yeah.
Thanks for
watching my dog, bitch.
Yeah. Like she doesn't have that attitude. She has the conquering attitude. She has the kind of a Z, not Z warrior, from Dragon Ball Z, Saiyan attitude, you know? Yeah. And I think that she will end up if her movie does really well, I think she will end up being in Man of Tomorrow. Why I think it's important to have Brainiac, because in the comics, Brainiac often has her people on his ship.
Yeah, I did want to say, several details have been added to Brainiac's canon over the years,
Yeah.
notably the idea that the AI is of Kryptonian origin, or at least has a
Yes.
connection to Krypton,
Yeah.
and that he's often teamed up with Lex Luthor only to betray him again and again.
Over and over. Yeah.
And then most relevant for Man of Tomorrow is Brainiac's backstory in My Adventures with Superman season 2, in which the sinister AI carries out Krypton's conquest of the galaxy, manipulating Supergirl into raising the worlds he targets to the ground, kind of like the Herald of Galactus in a way.
Yeah.
The biggest twist is that in that show, Brainiac is actually responsible for destroying Krypton when the planet considered ending its warlike ways.
Yeah.
So, given that James Gunn's Superman film included the revelation that Kal-El's parents sent him to Earth with the intent to conquer the planet, it seems very possible that these ties will exist in the new Superman if they really do use Brainiac.
Yeah, and then Timmy said it really well in the chat. He said the Kandorians are most likely going to be a sect that he has. We've seen that in the Superman animated series. We've seen it in the comic. These are the people that's where Supergirl's people. A lot of times what happens is that her parents end up being alive, yada, yada, yada. And the dynamic that ends up happening is that Supergirl's changed because of Clark. But then she gets into conflict with her family because they are still in conquer mode.
Right.
So she has to be like, you can't conquer Earth. And they're like, why not? You gone soft. So I feel like all that should add to the story where maybe not Supergirl is the Herald, but the Kandorians are. And now it's Superman, Supergirl, and Lex fighting against a bunch of Kandorians who are going to be getting all these powers because they're getting the sunlight. I think all that could be really interesting.
Every time I hear that word, I think of Kang,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have many names.
Where he comes from.
A Conquer, oh my goodness. In Loki season 1, that monologue, man, is just like chef's kiss. Very sad that we didn't get to see that. Would make, they're never going to do this, but Jonathan Majors would make a great Brainiac. Oh my God.
Oh, he would kill that.
I didn't even think about him, but oh my goodness.
Well, James Gunn's all about giving second chances. Since he's had one, he's talked about Ezra getting a second chance.
If he put it on him, wow, that'd be a big bet. But I would not be mad about it because, man, that boy can act.
He can act.
He can act. But I do think Brainiac makes the most sense for what we've been hearing from James Gunn, that there is going to be a big enough villain that is going to force Superman and Lex Luthor to have to team up to defeat him in some kind of way. Doesn't mean that they'll remain on the same side the whole movie, but it does need to be a big enough force. And I think Brainiac is definitely the villain to do that.
Yep.
So we shall see. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for Man of Tomorrow? And do you think that this picture is saying Brainiac's coming, and he's coming in 2027?
Yep.
All right, guys. As promised, we have a new segment sponsored by... No, I wish.
I was going to say, oh, shoot, this is a surprise?
No, that'd be awesome. No, the ruler was the biggest. Literally. No, no, we have a new segment, and this new segment is called Goat or No.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
That's amazing.
This is Goat or No. This is where I am going to show you two pictures. You might think that there's a goat outside of these two pictures that you like way more, but in this segment, you need to choose out of these two which you think is the goat of these two and why. Are you ready to start our brand new segment together?
Oh, God.
Logo.
Yeah, I'm locking my water. Cheers.
To the new seg. Goat or no? You like
Oh
it?
boy, I'm scared. I love.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
A lot of hot takes are about to come out of this. I'm scared.
There is gonna be some hot takes. Even when I was building it, I'm like, what am I gonna choose? This is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, here's a tough one for you. Are you ready for GOAT or Nope? Which is the GOAT? The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy or the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy? Zach, my friend, take it away.
How dare you? Maybe go first. Oh man, this is actually pretty easy for
I'll
me.
go first on the next one. I promise.
This is pretty easy for me. It's the Tobey Maguire
Okay.
trilogy. I think it's so Spider-Man. I think the fact that this Tom Holland Spider has had so much help in his films from other characters. It was cool the first movie, but like every single movie, it's like that. I think it's really cool that Tobey Spider-Man defines so much of what Spider-Man is in the comics, animation, video games, all that, because they capture everything that you want from the character. There's no movie that has a tone like that. There's no movie that has such iconic villains like that in terms of like Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Like Tom Holland's Vulture and Mysterio are good. They're really, really good, even great, but they don't match up with Green Goblin and Doc Ock to the point where Tobey's villains were the highlights in No Way Home. So I gotta give it to Tobey.
Okay. And no, I'm just kidding. I totally agree. I totally agree. This building this out was a very, very hard one for me because, as you know, I am a huge Spider-Man fan. Like, this is my GOAT superhero of all time.
Same.
And it's very hard because Batman is way, way up there.
Yeah.
But there's something about Spider-Man, and being a boy, not knowing the power that you have inside you, not being just emotionally intelligent enough to know what you have. But Peter has always had this responsibility in him to know that with this great power comes great responsibility. Yes, it has been said. This was really hard for me because what I love about Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies is that this is a child. He started the role at 19, not 27. He messes up a ton throughout these movies, like a lot. And so this is a great representation of how Peter is from the comics. He's young, he's inexperienced, he messes up all the time, but he tries to do the right thing in the end. And that is Spider-Man. However, because he does rely a lot on Tony Stark and Doctor Strange and all this stuff,
Shield and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, Shield and the characters from the past Spider-Man movies, because believe it or not, No Way Home is one of the arguably best Spider-Man movies of all time. What Spider-Man represents, to have all three together was incredible. It was the best way they have done multiverse in a movie thus far of any movie, I feel like. And so that was a great way to do it, where it's still Spider-Man's character, but it's still a multiversal event. That was chef's kiss.
Yeah.
With Tobey, there's so much that these movies did to pave the way for Tom Holland or the MCU to even have these movies to begin with. When Spider-Man came out in 2002, in 2002, it showed people that you can be comic booky, that you don't need the black leather, that you don't need to be dark like Blade, like X-Men 1. You know what I mean? It really showed that Sam Raimi can strike a balance between serious storytelling and bright comic booky worlds and put that together in such a brilliant way. And so what Spider-Man 1 did for the genre of superhero films in general, nothing compares to that.
No.
On top of that, Spider-Man 2 is arguably the best superhero film of all time. There is going to be arguments. There's Dark Knight, there's Logan, so on and so forth. I would love to talk about that because I even don't know. But Spider-Man 2 is a quintessential superhero film. And it is, you can ask Kevin Feige, is one of the best superhero films of all time.
Yeah.
These two movies were so important to superhero movies and to Spider-Man as a character on the big screen that Spider-Man 3 can be a piece of crap and the trilogy is still good. That's how good these two movies are. So yes, it is extremely hard for me because don't get it twisted. I do think Tom Holland is the better Spider-Man compared to Tobey's, but I do not think the Spider-Man films are better than the Sam Raimi trilogy, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. The overall films are better. You think
Yes.
Tom is a better portrayal just by himself.
Exactly. And maybe one day during Good or Nope, I will have a picture of Tom, Andrew, and Tobey, and we'll have a different discussion. But right now, it is between the trilogies, and I think you and I both agree. Sam Raimi, you win, brother.
Yeah.
Get another Doctor Strange, please. Okay. The next one. Woo! I'm gonna start with this one. Go or Nope. Modern day Catwoman. We have Anne Hathaway versus Zoe Kravitz. Bravissimo. And I do have to say, I love both of these representations.
Yeah.
They are very different. And keep in mind, the representations of these characters are at the hands of the creators of Chris Nolan and Matt Reeves. And that is what makes them so special, is the writing and the direction and the teamwork that the actor had with the creator of the movies. So this is very, very hard. But for me, this was hard. I had to go with Anne Hathaway. The reason I say that, and I am not a big Anne Hathaway fan. Honestly, she rubs me the wrong way. So this actually speaks to why I chose her. But if you watch The Dark Knight Rises, she is such a good Catwoman representation. She's sultry. She's dangerous. She is a compliment to Bruce Wayne and Batman in the sense that she is the antithesis of what he would like to be. Free, stick it to the man, come and go as she pleases, go away and no one will bat an eye because she's not a popular figure like Bruce Wayne, where you need to show face. She is what he wishes he could be, and he just simply cannot. And the way that Anne Hathaway played it, you know, the meeting with when she meets with the dude who can erase her background, right? So she can have a clean slate, played wonderfully by Ben Mendelsohn, one of the best actors that people don't even know his name. Crazy to me. But you know, like when she has her foot up on his hand, foot up all the way on his hand, the heel right here with his gun while she's talking to him, which is wild. The scene where she first meets Bruce Wayne, kicks the cane out of his hand, tears off the disguise of the maid, jumps backwards through the window, hops into the car with the politician into the limousine. Chef's kiss. On top of that, she is an anti-hero exactly like in the comics. She betrays Batman in this movie because
Yep.
she didn't realize this free world that she was asking for, Bane might take it too far. She didn't realize that. And so once she did, it was too late and Batman got hurt and she regretted that, ended up working with him. And then this Batman Catwoman connection where they're in love, they end up together in the end. Spoilers, 13 years later. So for a lot of those reasons, I feel like in this specific movie, because they've each only had one movie so far, Zoe, but I hear she's not coming back randomly. I do have to go with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, this one's a little harder because I prefer Zoe Kravitz.
Same.
But
Same.
Anne Hathaway's portrayal is closer to what Catwoman is in live action than to what Zoe. Because Zoe Kravitz's character, just like Batman's character in that movie, is really at the beginning. So a lot of the things that we know of Catwoman, she doesn't do. Right? Like she's not the full anti-hero. She's not fully slippery like how she is in the comics and TV shows. She's not fully there. And maybe when she comes back, because she left at the end of the movie, she comes back, she might be that. But as of now, Anne Hathaway had all the defining attributes of what Catwoman needs to be. A high elitist who has all this money but will still sticking it to the man. Still was sultry, still was fun. I don't think she has as good as of chemistry with Christian Bale as Zoe Kravitz has with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
but
there was
she
too
still
much
does a good
in
job
that
on her
movie.
own. Huh?
There was too much to put in that final trilogy movie to give them more of like a reason why they would end up together. Is what I felt, the same as how I feel you're feeling.
Yeah, if she was in the first movie and then she was in a little bit of each movie, that would have made more sense.
Yes,
instead of just one film. And I think
how they should use Zoe, which is how maybe she isn't in it that much. Maybe she pops in for a scene where they need her.
Yeah.
But really give them that send off in the third one. You know, like something. Yeah.
Something. But so I would have to definitely give it to Anne Hathaway. She has more comic accurate suit. She has a lot of the sexy scenes you want from Catwoman.
Sultry, that's the word.
Yeah, sultry. Yeah, and she has more of the attributes. It's an iconic portrayal. I like Dark Knight Rises, even though it's messy. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I think as of right now, between these two, Anne Hathaway is a GOAT. She's not the greatest Catwoman ever.
Nope. No.
But between these two, she is a GOAT.
I agree. Eartha, I love you. Eartha Kid.
Love you too.
Whoa. Oh yeah. 100%. We'll get into more. Just because we're doing these characters doesn't mean for this segment we'll never come back to Catwoman or to Batman or to Robin. All right. The next one I'm going to give to you to start out. Who is the GOAT between these two? And keep in mind, you see they are both dressed as Batman. So this will be who is the GOAT Batman, not Bruce Wayne, right? Bruce Wayne, part of Batman, but right here, who is the better Batman? Woo, this is hard.
This is probably the hardest one.
This is fun though, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, it's fun. F you for making me do this.
For making me have to do this.
This is hard for
once
me too.
Again, I think this is similar to the Anne Hathaway, Zoe Kravitz thing, where Christian Bale's Batman feels more like a definitive Batman more than Robert Pattinson, because Robert Pattinson at the beginning, he makes more mistakes than you expect Batman to make. He has some great fighting scenes, but he doesn't feel as the clean fighter like Batman does. He doesn't have some of the iconic Batman things of like being in the ceiling and jumping out, or like he doesn't have a lot of that stuff. And Christian Bale's Batman has all of that, right? Like
Yeah.
he has all of those things. He has
Even
all the cool tech.
the crouching, you know, when he first meets Rachel as Batman at the
Yeah,
train station area, and he's crouched, you know,
yeah,
like Batman. Even
yeah,
that, you know, when she tases him and he's like flicks it away and he's like, let me talk to you for a second.
yeah,
Even that is such a quintessential Batman
yeah,
move, like outline, you know, like
yeah.
outline of him. It's like,
Disappearing, and the person doesn't know that
yeah,
you
he's like,
disappeared. Like Robert hasn't got to do any of that yet. So
remember that?
yeah, it has to be Christian. Even though I prefer the Batman movie versus any of the Dark Knight trilogy. Period. I think
Really?
I think the Batman is the best Batman
Batman
movie.
over the Dark Knight.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Okay. Different discussion, but okay, that's good to know.
But
No.
if you're talking about individual performances
Yeah.
as just the Batman, it gotta go to Christian Bale for right now.
Okay. You know, I would say with Robert Pattinson as Batman, it confirmed what all us cineheads have no. I just hit my wire. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. I can still hear you.
It Robert Pattinson as Batman confirmed what all our cineheads knew about Robert Pattinson. This man can act, and he was fantastic as Batman. He's not as big as we would like him to be. He's not as Bruce Wayne as we would like him to be yet, but that is not the representation of Batman. In the very first scene, when we see him rise up in the train station as well, very similar to when we saw him with Rachel. That moment where you see it from behind him and he rises up in front of the villains, beautiful scene. Great representation of the fear that Batman puts in people. But with Christian Bale, what he was able to do with his Batman, changing the voice to be gravelly, which a lot of people make fun of. But I think it is necessary to disguising a public figure like Bruce Wayne's voice to a Batman. It's hyper realistic, and it's something that Christian Bale, such a great actor, would think of as very necessary for this character.
Yep.
On top of that, the way that Batman moves throughout that trilogy, whether it's brawling with Bane, whether it's fighting against Ra's al Ghul on the ice. Damn, Christopher Nolan's good. He just had so many moments that like encapsulates who Batman is overall, where the fighting came from, where the intelligence came from, building the suit. All that stuff is such a great representation of Batman. I know it's not fair because 3 movies versus 1 movie, but right now it's hard not to go with Christian Bale because of how much and how many moments have encapsulated who Batman is as a superhero and as a character. And so for that reason, I too have to go with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Sorry, Battinson.
You'll get there one day, hopefully.
You'll get there one day, and then we will put you up against Batfleck.
Hey, that's really a hard one. It's hard, but not at the same time. Yeah.
You know what will be hard? Him versus, the comic accurate version that James Gunn is going to do. That will be hard.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
Gray and blue. Ooh!
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that.
I want the gray blue with the yellow symbol. Give it to me
so bad. And we're going to get
it just makes sense next to this colorful Superman for him to have this colorful
100%.
suit.
This is comic book world. Let's live in it. Let's go all the way. All right. Last one. And then we got some other Batman stuff to talk about. So made this a little Batman heavy, I guess.
Oh
There are
boy.
some iconic fantasy franchises, especially since we have been born. But there have been two that have stood the test of time in the past 25 years. And this is Lord of the Rings trilogy versus the Harry Potter saga for the GOAT of fantasy films. Mamma mia. Here
Evan,
we go again.
if I ever see you in real life,
Then you get
just know.
this.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Then
also you're gonna get this. You're gonna get this a knuckle sandwich.
It's gonna be remind me of when I got in trouble from my mom. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
You want me to go
going
first? You
to.
got it. You got
I
it.
got
Okay.
it. I'm gonna go with Harry Potter. I'm gonna go with Harry Potter. Which is really funny because I haven't seen all the movies. I think I stopped at the fifth one. Yeah, the fifth
Okay.
one.
Half Blood Prince or Goblet of Fire
No, I saw the one after
or
Goblet of
Order
Fire.
of the
That's the
Phoenix.
fourth
Order of
one.
the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even though I didn't see the
Can you
full
tell which
franchise,
one I'm gonna choose based on my? I'm like I got all the names.
um, even though I didn't see the full franchise, and I have seen all three Lord of the Rings movies, um, I enjoy Harry Potter a lot more because it feels more flexible in terms of what's going on. There's a little bit more life in it in terms of, we have Harry and what's going on with him, and we have Hermione, what's going on with her, and Ron. They have their chemistry together, but all have their own individual stuff. And the villain, I think, is way more iconic for me. And I think for franchises, your villain needs to be visible and iconic, and
So Sauron.
Sauron.
Wait, Sauron is not as iconic as Voldemort in your
I don't
eyes.
think so. I think in my eyes, and I don't think people really put up Sauron up there a lot of times when we talk about
They put
villains.
the eye up more than anything, the eye of Sauron.
Yeah,
But
but not the actual Sauron.
yeah, that's a good point. No, I agree. I totally
Because
agree.
that was always my biggest issue with when I finished the Lord of the Rings series, is that the villain is really just non-existent.
Yeah, you're like, oh, so we're not going to see him like that much,
Yeah, it's like, dude, that's really weird. But the movies were great. It was weird not having that central villain just to be there. But Voldemort is so iconic. I don't even think he doesn't show up the first couple films. You just hear about him, but when he does show up, it's impactful. He's scary, and I just think that I love those books so much as a child, and then for them to bring it to life like that and improve it some ways, I think it's a better, more flexible franchise than Lord of the Rings, because I feel like they have an opportunity to do more things with Harry Potter. I don't think they have the opportunity to really do as much with Lord of the Rings because it's such a specific 3 structure film. And when you try to go outside of that, we see what happened with the Hobbits, and we saw what happened with Rings of Power, and then we saw what happened with the animated movie, and now people are worried about this Gollum movie that's coming out. I think when you look at that, it's just like when you get from outside these 3 movies, you try to spread out, it's not as strong. So I like Harry Potter more.
Yeah, I would say when the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring came out, it completely changed the landscape of fantasy movies on the big screen.
Yeah.
In the cinematic zeitgeist, especially the Return of the King, which won all the Oscars. And so they're extremely prestigious films, especially for
Oscar
fantasy, which never gets the love that it deserves.
Nope.
But notice I did not put the Hobbit movies in this trilogy, in this saga, right? As you said, as you get beyond these 3 movies, it gets very bare and very thin quickly. And that could be from, creative decisions to writers to whatever it is. However, I don't want to take away from how iconic the Lord of the Rings is. I even remember the teaser trailer when you got the characters walking up the snowy mountain and it says summer, whatever the heck, and it's like, whoa, what is this? This looks amazing. That being said, though, Harry Potter, the film series, is a feat that hasn't been touched since the MCU started, in the sense that every movie gets arguably better as the kids age and as the story progresses. On top of that, you grow up with these characters. The stories become more mature. The stories become darker. It doesn't stay in the same place. It evolves as you go through these stories with these different characters. And to do that over 8 films and not skip a beat is incredible and has never been done since, especially within the fantasy genre. People have tried and failed with the Narnia movies, but at the end of the day, nothing really holds a candle to these 8 movies as a total. For that reason, I too need to go with the Harry Potter saga over the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I love both of these, but at the end of the day, it has to go to Harry Potter.
Yes, thank God. Because everybody's like, you're a Lord of the Rings hater. I'm like, I'm not a Lord of the Rings hater. I just did not grow up with it.
Yep.
So I don't have the nostalgia berries. I do think they're great films, but I don't. There's like an emotional attachment you have to to certain things.
They were coming out. You were like, nah, I'm not going to go to the theater. Like,
I just didn't go to movies. I was a TV guy. It's all TV all day. And now it changed, right? Like if this was now, I probably would have been like, "Oh my God, this Lord of the Rings crazy."
That's right. It's you differently where you're at too in your own movie going saga of your life, which ebbs and flows and becomes more mature with the movies and more appreciative and more understanding of the background of how movies are made. Everything kind of changes.
Yeah.
As you get older. So I can see that for sure. But
it's like people who grew up with Star Wars, right? Like Star Wars is before our time, really.
Yep.
And people who grew up with Star Wars have such appreciation because they never seen anything like that before. By the time I saw Star Wars, I did see things that were inspired by Star Wars. So it's like, I've kind of seen stuff like this. And I'm like, it's still great, but it's not blowing my mind.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree that everything hits someone differently, especially depending on where you are at that time. You know what I mean? But that, my friends, is go.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Or nope.
That's great.
What'd you think? Did you like it?
Loved it. That was amazing.
Awesome.
You was killing me out here with the last 2. I was like, oh God.
I know, man. Those are hard, and they gonna come for our necks.
Let
him come, though. Yeah, especially the last one. Whoo, those are hardcore fans. But at the end of the day, everything hits someone differently, and that's the best part about this, is to have these kind of hard conversations sometimes because you love them. And that's why it's fun. It shouldn't be hard, but when you love so many things so much in different ways, it's hard to choose just one.
Yeah.
All right. We got some more James Gunn comments. But before that, let's take a break from our sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. I wish. Timmy, our sponsor, take it away, brother. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully, down the road when we get more in the chat, we'll be able to have more goat or nope conversations and get them involved. I think that'd be really fun. I think that'd be really cool.
Really fun.
Okay. With that down, I want to get into this. Back on the James Gunn Gunn, who is shooting out all types of information about why it is so hard to cast Batman in the DCU. This comes to us from Yahoo. They say James Gunn is good at a lot of things, but one of the most underrated skills is casting. That was evident in his new Superman film. The casting for every role is pitch perfect, from David Cornsweet's Superman to Kyler Gassando's Jimmy Olsen. However, he didn't take the decision to cast Cornsweet as Superman lightly. Superman is one of the most iconic characters in the world. There's a certain expectation for every actor playing the role. And currently, James Gunn is looking to cast the next Batman in the Brave and the Bold film that's being developed. And this seems to be even harder for him. There's no word yet on who is going to land the Batman role, but Gunn doesn't seem to be concerned about it. In fact, he thinks that finding a Superman was a lot harder. Here's what he said in an interview in Two Bears in One Cave. He said, Batman's wearing a mask. Batman doesn't have Batman face. Like, the thing about our Superman is they've all had Superman face. That's a specific sort of thing because people kind of have some idea of what Superman looks like from the comics. While Batman does get his face covered, you still need an actor with a great chin. That said, for Superman, you need the actor to have a great chin, a great face, beautiful hair, Henry Cavill of it all, David Cornsweet, Christopher Reeves of it all. But regardless, I found James Gunn's comments about Batman interesting. He says that Superman's harder because his fate's out in the open. Batman's easier, but you still need the presence of Batman, even if his face is covered. What do you feel about him saying that it was actually harder to cast Superman than it is Batman?
That totally makes sense, and you can just see it based on the what's the word I'm trying to look for? Cinematic history. There we go. Tongue tied. If you look at all the people who cast as Batman and all the people who cast as Superman, right? Whether it's even TV or live action, all the Superman actors kind of have a similar look. If you look at Tom Welling versus Henry Cavill versus David Cornsweet versus Christopher Reeve versus George Reeves versus whatever you want to go, right?
Tyler
the
Hoechlin.
only one that looks a little different is the one from Superman and Lois. That's the only one that looks a slightly different from.
He looks good, bro.
No. I'm not saying he looks bad. I'm just saying he kind of looks a little different from the facial structure of like a Tom Welling, Henry Cavill.
A little bit more like relatable.
Yeah, a little more relatable, a little darker features than the rest of them. But even then, he's still I still think he's a fantastic Superman. He did a great job.
Wait, so Superman isn't bald with a beard?
Damn it.
Darn it! Babe, I'm out of the
you're
race.
not up for it, man.
Babe,
you're not
I'm
up
out of the
for it.
race.
But if you look at Batman, if you go from like Michael Keaton to George Clooney, they don't look alike. Ben Affleck doesn't look like them. Val Kilmer doesn't look like them. Christian Bale does not look like any of them.
Right. Christian
Bale kind of with Michael Keaton, but everybody else no. And then Robert Pattinson doesn't look like any of them. So it is true that you kind of can. It's easier to cast Batman because he doesn't have a specific look that he has to look like all the time, and people just accept it because I think it's more about how he acts as Batman versus what he looks like as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, because Bruce Wayne does not have the mask, but he was saying Batman specifically, and Batman isn't the face. Batman is the presence in the voice. That is Batman, where it's like, whoa, I feel like someone's going to get hurt in this room, kind of thing. And so, I totally agree with what he's saying. I think, Superman has to have those features. He has to have the chiseled features, the black hair, the curl, the bulkiness, it's so specific that when you see it, you just know. And with Batman, you need to dig a little deeper to really feel is this person going to be the right Batman? He might be the right Bruce Wayne. He might look great in a suit and have that douchey gravitas. But when he puts on that cape and cowl, is he still going to feel like the other side of the coin of Bruce, which is Batman? And that is a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, to feel out. So it was interesting that he said it was harder to cast Superman. I felt like it was the opposite for the same reasons, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
On top of that, or with that down at least, James Gunn had some more stuff to say about casting for Batman. He actually teased a little bit about who he's been talking to, and maybe there's a big actor or actors that have been reaching out. He said, do I have ideas about actors who could play Batman? Absolutely, I do. I have guys I like. I have guys that are top of the list for me, just like I had people that were at the top of the list for Superman. People can guess, and maybe they'll be right about certain things. We'd have to screen test, and we'd have to see, do the whole thing. And he said one particular actor, a pretty big star, wants to be Batman. We've talked about it, but I don't think that's the case. Some people are potentially thinking it's Alan Ritchson, but there could be others that he is referring to. I don't really see Alan Ritchson as a big star. His star has gotten bigger from Reacher, but I don't believe that this is the big star that he could be referencing. I want to ask you, who do you think the big star is? And then I'll give you my idea.
I don't know. There's not that many big stars anymore, and you got to think about if the movie is still about him with Damian, it has to be somebody that's
We're gonna get into that too.
Like if it's still that, if it's not about that, that opens up the casting, right? Because then you can cast someone that looks closer to David Cornsweet's age, because David Cornsweet looks younger than he actually is. But if it's someone that's already had Damian, he's 10 years old, it's going to be somebody that has to look like they're in their late 30s, 40s. So it's kind of hard, because Alan Richardson would fit that because he looks like an older dude, but he's not a big star. Glenn Powell, I guess, kind of, but then Glenn Powell doesn't want to do comic book movies.
He's blonde.
And he's blonde. He can change hair.
He's like, and you're too blonde. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He's yelling at the recruits, and like Jared Leto has like bleach blonde hair.
Blonde hair, yeah. And then I don't know. I really am stumped on this and think of like a big star, because there's not that many big stars anymore. I'm very curious who you think it is.
I think it's probably Zach from Zach Attack Reviews. Would probably be.
Where is he? Where do you take Damien? I got the voice. I can do it.
Definitely have the voice. Move over, Marvin. What's the third?
I'm the new
Marvin Harrison. That is a football player, ex-football player. Who I think the big star is that is wanting to play Batman is Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he is a huge star.
Duh.
I think he has dabbled in superhero projects before.
Yes.
But he hasn't gotten to be the main superhero. And I think if anyone would reach out to James Gunn, it would be Jake Gyllenhaal to say, I want to be Batman. Will that become the case? I don't know. I don't think so. But that is the first big name that comes to mind for me.
That's a no-brainer, honestly. He has the charm and charisma to be Bruce Wayne.
Acting jobs.
He's done the brooding in many, many movies. He's played a detective before, Prisoners. Yeah, he's been in action. He can do it. He can be silly. He can be serious. He can do it all. Yeah. So I do think, I don't know, Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors. I can't believe I even think of that.
Right?
The only thing I can see why they don't want to do Jake Gyllenhaal is because
44.
he's 44, which is not that big of a deal because if they're going with the same story, Batman should be in that age, and Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't look old. But
No, he has baby face too when he shaves. He does.
yeah, and he's gonna have to shave for this. So you made a great point. A little stubble. I think the point that I'm trying to make is that Jake Gyllenhaal is going to cost a lot of money to play because he's a big actor, but Jake Gyllenhaal is also not a box office hit, right? When he leads movies, he doesn't bring in the moolah. So I could kind of see of the thinking of like, well, he's a great choice, he's a great actor, but we're gonna have to pay him a lot, but he also might not be a draw that we want for such a big budget movie. That's the only reason I could see they might not want Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's a good point. That is a big price jump. And as we have talked about on this show before, James Gunn has kept the price tags down when it comes to Nicholas Hoult, Rachel Brosnahan, David Cornsweet, Evan Bernstein. These are not big names yet, so he can pay them on the lower end until they start blowing up. With Jake Gyllenhaal, though, and with Batman, it might make sense to pay more to really give Batman that essence and that draw. Yeah. If he's going to be an older, more seasoned Batman. Yeah. If not, then you can go a little bit younger and you can go someone more up and coming who is a big star. Glenn Powell is a big star, but his star is shooting up. He's not done yet, and he's not where he's going to be yet. I'm not saying it is Glenn Powell, but I'm saying that is a star that is still shooting upwards, if that makes sense.
No, totally.
On that note, please leave your comments and let me know what you guys think. Who is this big star? Who would you want to play Batman? And what big star would you want to see if he did go that route? But with that down, I want to get into what you were talking about with this, because it seems as we're getting a little bit deeper into the writing of Batman the Brave and the Bold. We're starting to understand from James Gunn of what this Batman might look like in the sense of his age, of his parentage, and what Robin he could have within this movie. This comes to us from Screen Rant. They say The Brave and the Bold gets new DC Universe updates from James Gunn as the movie is still in development. As there will be 2 Batman adaptations in live action at the same time, the one in Gunn's new superhero franchise will be a more established take on the crime fighter who has a Bat family in this continuity. However, while the reboot has been in work since the announcement in January 2023, filming has not started and will not anytime soon. In an interview with IGN, James Gunn was asked about the age range they were looking to go for with casting their new Bruce Wayne. As it was originally announced, the film would focus on him as a father, including the introduction of Damian Wayne. However, the Superman Man of Tomorrow filmmaker has shared an update on that. James Gunn said, "No, I think you have to wait to see the movie. Some things have changed. Plenty of things are in flux on what his situation is with his parentage and all that stuff. So I wouldn't take any of it." Yeah, I mean, the actor who wants to, listen, first of all, I can't tell you the amount of big actors that have told me they want to be Batman. I think you'd have a harder time finding actors who don't want to be Batman. He's the one character everyone wants to play. That's the truth. IGN asked for clarification about whether or not Damian is still set to appear as the movie's Robin. But rather than giving a yes or no answer, he responded with, "I think you have to wait to see exactly what's happening." So it seems like things may have changed to the point where they're waiting to introduce Bruce's biological son in the franchise and probably start with something more in line with a Dick Grayson or a Jason Todd. And that could potentially age down the Batman character from what we
Yeah.
originally thought. So I want to ask you, what do you think of these comments of James Gunn, specifically talking about reassessing the parentage of it all?
Yeah, I think with the rumored departure of Andy Muschietti from this movie in terms of directing and co-writing it, I think they're going to be going back to the drawing board and figuring out what they're doing with the character. Because I can see the idea of Superman being younger and Batman being older not being the most ideal situation, wanting them to be the same age now, or around the same age at least, and having a similar dynamic. Superman not having kids, Batman having kids. Like, I think in the comic books, the great thing was that Batman had Damian, and then shortly after, Superman had John. So they could, like, they're both dads at the same time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So I could definitely see them not wanting to do that, and not seeing Batman with the first comic accurate Batman, not with a Dick Grayson Robin, because we haven't gotten that really, like an actual young
Not a
Robin.
real,
Yeah, we've gotten Robin with Dick Grayson, but he was already a grown man. I want to see him with a younger actor doing that. So I do think that if Andy Muschietti is departing from it, and I do think that he should after Flash, we should get somebody else in there, and I think that they're going to be redoing that script to really fit what's going on in the DCU. I think the DCU is changing a lot. I do think Zaslav has a little bit more of a hand in what is changing in it than we expect. Because of that focus change on major characters instead of just like smaller ones, and we're not hearing much about the Authority anymore. We're not hearing much about Swamp Thing anymore.
I'm hearing it's
it
gonna be
might
a show.
So I think he's like, okay, I got to prioritize the Justice League, which I think is what he should have did in the beginning. But I think he's realizing that now I have to do that.
Yeah, I think he's still, establishing what the Justice League would even look like. And like you said, we've only had one movie in theaters, and he is fast approaching a sequel already, with Supergirl hot on the heels of that coming out this summer. So it's coming, and I think he's doing a good job of not letting Zaslav speed him up any more than he really, really wants to. I think it already kind of got messed up with Peacemaker coming out and releasing Superman early on VOD, which I don't know if he liked that too much, or maybe that was an act and that was the game plan all along. I don't know. But right now they are reporting, basically, because he doesn't keep his mouth shut. He always answers fans, which I love and hate him for it. He is saying, when asked, will this come out before the 2030-31 year? And he said, yes, probably right before that. So we are looking at a 2028-2029 movie, which is far down the road, at least 2.5-3 years. So will we see him before that? We don't know, but a solo Batman movie looks like it's coming after the completion of the Robert Pattinson trilogy, is what it's starting to look like.
I think technically we saw him in Creature Commandos, and I do feel like we will see him in Clayface. I don't know if it's going to be
a weird way. The way that James Gunn is describing Clayface is, this is like a substance body horror movie. Like, he wants this to get nominated. He wants to show that like his DCU has range when it comes to the genre. So it feels like it's less likely Clayface, in my opinion, because he wants this to like stand on its own and be a Joker 1 type movie, and be in that space and carve out that of the DCU is what I'm getting the sense of. But you never know. You never know.
He could tack it on at the end of the after credits. It's like, well, that's not part of the main movie, and this is the part you're nominating. So don't get mad that Batman
could be right. That was Batman. No.
just pull him.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. You just see the hand with the spikes on it. Just get over it.
Yeah. Absolute. Oh, I was gonna show you. Where the heck? Oh, by the way, breaking news. Bad Bunny will be the Super Bowl halftime show.
I just saw that.
Ba-da-da-da. All right. I was at the comic book store yesterday and I got some stuff. Finally got. Gonna dive into this. Absolute Batman.
Nice.
Absolutely gonna get into this. Timmy, you'll like this. Timmy is a big comic book aficionado. And then my comic book store owner got me into some Image re-releases of issue 1. So Criminal.
Nice.
Very nice. Brubaker. Gotta go Brubaker, go bust. Don't bust on Brubaker. Can Ice Cream Man.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Psycho. For thinking I might go. What we got Timmy saying? Okay, nice. This is up Timmy's alley. Velvet. Brubaker also. Have you heard of this one?
No, but it looks like Jackie Brown.
Right? Espionage, spy thriller. Great
The art looks
artwork.
great. Yeah.
Insane artwork. Speaking of great artwork, the Department of Truth. This bad boy, you gotta see this. It is insanely beautiful.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks cinematic.
The thing I love about these is because I'm such a movie head. I'm like, this is how they can adapt. You know, like when I'm reading it, I'm like, I can see the movie. Like, this is the song I would be playing in this scene. You know, like my brain goes there always.
I do that too. I hope Image starts getting people to adapt their stuff more. They have so many
better, 'cause they got a
great
lot of
comics.
stuff.
I know they have Saga being made by Prime Video, and I think Saga can blow the roof off the house. The only thing I have that's comic book related, but it's not a comic book, is this.
I saw that. Did you see my comment?
Yes.
It was sexy,
Definitely.
dude. That steel. Oh my gosh.
Door opens when you open the case. But yeah, I'm excited to pop it in and watch this bad boy because we've talked about it. I'm not as big of a fan as everyone else of the film, but I still do like it. I want to see if the second watch improves my liking.
I've seen it 6 times, so I kind of like it, but it's hard because Crypto makes my dog go crazy. He's barking at the TV the whole time. Uh-oh. Are you frozen? We lost it.
Am I messing up or is you messing up?
You're
Timmy,
freezing.
am I freezing or is Evan freezing?
Yeah, help us out. You're freezing. Do you see this? Do you see this, Zach? Zach attack?
Can't hear anything.
You can't hear
What's
it?
happening?
Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
I must look crazy. If
yeah, you are frozen. Timmy, confirm. You're back. You're back. You see this? You see this bad boy? Oh. Uh-oh. Timmy, you see this bad boy? Have you read this? I think it's just a one-off. He went away again. It's called Joker live in Metropolis for one night only. He's probably going to try and come back in. Have you seen this one, Timmy? This is so cool. He's basically obsessed with Superman and goes to Metropolis to try and get his autograph or something like that. It looks insane, but I love this cover. I had to get it. This is just, I don't know, iconic to me. All right. Well, that is the comic books. And I don't know, Zach might be having some technical difficulties, but it is all good because we are actually at the end of the show. So So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Timmy, thank you for being here. You hear me, brother?
I'm back.
All right, cool. I just wanted to show you this before we're gonna sign off here. But I wanted to show you this last one. This bad boy.
Ooh.
Joker. Live in Metropolis for one night only.
That's dope. You gotta let me know how that is. I wanna check that out.
He is basically a fanboy of Superman and travels to Metropolis to get his autograph in a very Joker and insane way. No, I don't think it's a new release. I think it came out August 2014. Yeah, it's an older one. It's an obscure one. I was actually trying to buy on online this 3-part series because I wanted to brush up on Mr. Negative. It's a really cool 3-part Mr. Negative Dark Reign series. It's beautiful imagery.
That's amazing.
I really wanted to get. It's only 3, so it's this one's cool. Really easy watch. But I was like, damn, can you throw that in there if I'm paying for the shipping? So yeah, I just thought it was awesome. And I'm very specific. Like those image ones, I don't normally do. She just, the owner, Chris of Invisible Jet Comics in San Francisco. Great comic book store. Now my favorite. I will be interviewing her in that comic book store at some point because I want to put on more female, owners of these spaces. And I think it'd be awesome. So that will do it for the show. There's so much more I want to get into, but man, I gotta eat. And because there's so many rumors coming out. There's the Marvel Studios rumor that just dropped today that the 2 major villains they're looking at right now is Mr. Sinister and also Apocalypse, which is like, duh. Why wouldn't you? Like we haven't seen any good adaptions or adaptions at all of those on the big screen, but we can get into that another time. And so I just want to say thank you everyone for being here. Zach, it is always a pleasure having you on the show. I hope you enjoyed our new segment. Yes. I'm going to come up with some more fun segments for us to do, but we'll continue doing Goat or Nope. And we're going to make it harder for you, brother, because it's hard for me too. Yes, it is a crime we have not seen Mr. Sinister, and we need the best actor for it. Is it Javier Bardem?
Yes.
Maybe. Is it John Hamm? Maybe.
No. Javier Bardem would eat that role. Oh my God. I don't know if he has the face, but makeup and stuff.
John Hamm's face with Javier Bardem's acting prowess. But I'm telling you, John Hamm is a huge lover of Mr. Sinister.
Okay.
And
then give it to him.
If you see his villain role in Fargo, the last series, you will be like, dang, he is.
Okay. So then, give it to him then. I like when people who are fans of the character get the roles.
Yes, he's been vying for it. And so it's like, so he's going to put in 110.
Yeah. He's gonna give the best effort. Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, 100%. All right, brother. Where can the good people find you?
Yes, you can find me on the interwebs. That's Facebook, Instagram, Threads at Zach Attack RVS because reviews is too long. And you can find me on my YouTube channel at Zach Attack Reviews, where I talk about movies every week. I'm a baby cinephile, so there's a ton of old movies I've never seen, so I'm catching up on that. But reviewing new movies as well, and also have my own personal live stream called the Film Club, where I talk movies as well. Where I'm talking to my Film Club partner about having guests on once a month, and hopefully get this guy Evan on there. So
I saw the time dates all mapped out for the films. I was gonna text you, be like, can I get in on one of those film clubs?
Let me know. We can plan it ahead.
Awesome. I can't wait. Well, you got to come here so you can get this. And it's always a pleasure having you on here. Great conversations, great things coming out. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, everyone in the chat who joined us. Tune in next time. Go see a movie in theaters. There's so many good movies coming out. And what better way to celebrate than seeing it with random people, because you will be surprised and you will have a really great time. So
you will.
Thank you so much. We will see you guys again. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye.
It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.